Hi, everyone. Welcome to Zoom and Accessibility, a workshop organized by LEDI team in the Faculty of Education at UBC. So today, I will be presenting this workshop with two of my colleagues. My name is Mariam. I'm the educational technologist in the LEDI team, and I'm happy to be here today with you. And Eduardo, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Mariam. Hi, everyone. My name is Eduardo. I'm the Learning Technology Specialist at LDDI. And Chris, now you can go ahead.
For sure. Thanks so much, Eduardo. Hi, everyone. My name is Christopher. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the Learning Technology Rover with LTDI.
Oh, I think you're muted.
Oh,
Mariam?
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So before we start the workshop, we would like to acknowledge that LEDI is located on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. These lands and places are steeped in the histories and knowledge of the original peoples of these territories. The faculty's activities take place on Indigenous lands throughout British Columbia and beyond. And the agenda for today's workshop, the first part would be we will have an overview of Zoom and the need for accessible meetings. The second part will be Zoom's accessibility features. We will discuss captioning, recording, and transcripts. And the last part will be recommended accessibility practices. So I will pass it over to Christopher to just tell us why are accessible meetings needed.
Exactly. Thanks so much, Mariam. So first I'll just start by saying exactly what Zoom is. So we're all gathered on Zoom today. So I assume we have a pretty basic knowledge of what Zoom is. But in case anyone was unsure, Zoom is a video conferencing platform that really is able to connect people from different places and communities, all in an online space. But it's important to keep in mind that while we are connecting with people from various communities, backgrounds, places across the world, it's really important that people are able to really understand and experience the content of your meeting. And that's kind of why these accessible meetings are needed. So we just head to the next slide over here. Few key reasons why we need accessible Zoom meetings. The first one being the fact that everyone needs to be able to understand, communicate, and participate in your meeting. Not only are accessible meetings needed for those who maybe have disabilities, but they can also be helpful for other people as well. So for instance, setting up captions in a Zoom meeting is not only helpful for those who may be deaf and hard of hearing, but it's also helpful for those who might not have English as their first language, or those who might be in a noisy place and not able to really hear the meeting as well. I think also what's important to note is that we also do have some accessibility policies and some obligations that we are required to meet as well as a public institution. In 2022, the BC government actually did pass some legislation that requires public institutions like UBC to have accessibility accommodations in place for faculty, staff, and students as well. More on the student side, I'll note that there is a policy set out by the Senate, which is the Disability Accommodation Policy, which is short code is LR7. And basically all that says is that accessible accommodations should be made and are required to be made for students who do require those as well. And the last reason here why they matter is that they provide an opportunity for easily accessible resources to be easily created. So as Mariam and Eduardo will show in a few moments, there's a number of different ways we can set up Zoom meetings to be more accessible. So some of those do include captioning, transcripts, doing recordings and things like that. But by doing all of that, a lot of these pieces are automatically created for you. So captions, transcript are automatically created for you. And what's nice is that in post-production, you're able to easily have those captions and transcripts readily available and ultimately make an accessible resource for your students. But with that, I'll pass it over to Mariam.
Thanks, Christopher. So the second part of our meeting, accessible features in Zoom, and Eduardo is going to discuss this part. Eduardo, should I stop sharing? I think you're mute.
You can continue sharing, Mariam, and in a moment I'll start sharing when I show some of the features. Okay, thank you. So yeah, we're going to be talking about some of the accessibility features. And like Christopher mentioned, we can have captions, or we can have transcripts as well, or we can actually make recordings and then use the content of the recordings to create accessible content. So this is pretty easy really to apply. Like Christopher was mentioning, Zoom creates all of this stuff for you. So let's look at them. We're going to be looking at captioning first, then transcripts. That's going to be pretty fast. And then Mariam is going to be showing some interesting information about how we can get more files when we record and then use those to create an accessible resource. So let's do that. I'm going to share my screen now to show you the captionings and the transcripts. Great, so you see my screen? Yep, perfect. So I have enabled, I went to the backend of Zoom and I activated a setting there that allows you to see my Zoom controls. That's why you're able to see what I'm actually seeing in Zoom. And I quickly want to show you how you can enable the transcripts and how you can modify the transcript as well. And the same thing with the captions. So this is something that you might want to do when you are doing your presentations. So let's begin with the captions. So as you can see, and you probably know, you can always enable the captions if you click here on this button, right? So show captions, and we will see the captions. Now, take into consideration that this only depends on the user. So like the user needs to activate the captions. But now, like each user can change how the captions are shown. So to do that, you need to go to the backend of Zoom. I'm going to show you that right now. If I go to the platform here, and I guess you see this window, right? Can I get a confirmation? Yep, perfect. So if we go here and you go to your user, and then you click on settings, this is going to show you different settings that you can play with in Zoom. And as you can see on the left, at the bottom, we have accessibility. So here is where we can modify a little bit the settings to make it more accessible. So I'm going to show you how you do that. First of all, you can change the size of the font to begin with. So let's see here, if I go and I make this bigger, you can see on the window, let me just move this a little bit to the left, how this is creating bigger captions. That would be one. Then you can also change the color of the caption. You can choose one of these preset colors, or you can choose a color that you like. So if I want to make it yellow, we can do it that way. Then just as you can see, we have translation color. So this is because Zoom has a feature that translates the audio being heard. But just know that this is not featured or it's not available in our UBC instance. Okay, so we don't have it in this case. So you can just play with this caption color and also the caption size. Okay, then you can always show captions if you like that. So you don't have to enable or disable them. You can always have them from the beginning if you check this box here. And then another one that might be useful, this is not connected to captions really, but it's in this section, in the accessibility section, is the chat display size. So if you go here to the chat, I'm going to show my chat now. You can see we have a specific size for the text, but we can definitely change that if we go here and make it bigger. So we can make it, 180%. It's going to be bigger. It's going to be more accessible for people who might have issues reading the smaller size of the text. So that would be that. And then if you can continue exploring this section here, I'm talking about the accessibility section. We have another couple of features like dim the screen. If we have like things that are too might be between tense in the video or in the image that we're sharing, so you can have that enabled. And then we have all the different alerts that Zoom can make to you as you're or present to you as you are having a meeting in Zoom. And all of these are enabled by default. So I would recommend just leaving it like that. Okay, now let's talk about the transcript. So Zoom creates a transcript for you. And the difference is that the captions are actually showing you each part that we're speaking. I mean, it's showing you in real time, right? Like as I'm speaking, we see the captions. But the transcript is more like a file that contains everything that has been said. And it's also going to show it to you it's going to differentiate between the different people who are speaking in the meeting. So if I go here to more, No, it's going to be in, I think it's in, yeah, so if we go to captions again, here at the bottom, and we choose the second option, view full transcript. Now on the right, instead of seeing the chat, we can see the full transcript. Now, right now, I'm the only one speaking, so that's why we see my name and then all the captions, but let's have someone else speaking so we can see their name. So maybe, Mariam, you want to say something?
Yeah, I can say something just to have some words there and so that my name appears there. Okay.
Perfect, great. Thank you. And the good thing of this is that then you can download it. As you can see here down below, you have like saved transcript. And also another nice thing is that even if you join the meeting late, let's say you join in 15 minutes late, you can still go and see the whole transcript of the meeting. So you can catch up on something that you might have missed. Great. So let's move forward now into recording, and Mariam is going to be explaining that to you. Thank you.
So would you stop sharing?
Yes.
Thanks. Just a second. So in Zoom, we can change the settings in a way where you can have a recording of the speakers. I mean, only the speaker, only the shared screen. But I will start with the normal recording we get after we record a meeting, that is share the screen with gallery view. So I'm going to show it to you first. Yeah, so this is the normal recording. You might.
Good morning, everyone. My name is your teaching in hybrid settings, so your technologies.
So another thing you can do to improve a hybrid setting is communication. Yeah, now the other recordings we have here, gallery view only, so only the participants. Their slides are not going to be shown in this recording. It's just the participants, no slides.
Good morning, everyone. Number one,
Here.
technological. So setting up a
Address and monitor assessment methods are fair, transparent. And then you can have the share the screen, the slides, plus the speaker view only. I mean, it alternates between speakers. So.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eduardo. A PowerPoint here with yourself with your platform's features, meaning hybrid environment, and you can also.
And then you can only have the share the screen, only the slides. No, the speakers won't be displayed on the screen. Let's see this one.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eduardo from the LDI
So as you see, the speakers are not displayed. It's just the slides.
team, and today here is joining me. Let's
Slides,
familiarizing yourself with your platform's features, meaning screen sharing, breakout rooms, pinning, spotlighting.
Also, you can have only the speaker view without the slides being shown on the screen. So it's just the speaker view.
Good morning, everyone. My familiarizing
Online students, and also in short, yeah, so no slides at all. And then we also can have the audio files. The thing is, you can have the audio file for each for each individual participant. For example, here we have the audio file, which is only Eduardo's voice, like in the meeting. I have the audio file, which is only my voice throughout the meeting. This audio only is the file which includes the voices of all the participants. So you can create an audio file for each participant, also for all of the participants like together. And then another thing which we wanted to just like showcase. Did you want to add something, Eduardo?
Yeah, I just want to add something. So as you can see, when we make a recording on Zoom, normally the file that we get is can be a little bit limited, right? We just see like the presentation kind of like as you're seeing it right now, meaning like the shared screen and then you have the speaker and all of that. But what if like later you want to create another type of content that can be more accessible in different ways, such as, you know, like having the speaker in a bigger window, or maybe like rearranging the windows in different ways so people can access or can experience the content in a way that is more tailored to them. So this is what we're exploring right now. We're just seeing that we can go into the backend of Zoom and we can ask Zoom to generate all these different files, and it kind of like makes them independent, all the elements, like us speaking and also the presentation, and then we can take advantage of that and we can create a new resource that hopefully can be more accessible. You can continue now, yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So for creating audio files for example, a specific participant, or for creating a gallery view or a speaker view recording, what you need to do is to log into zoom.us, log into your Zoom account on this website, zoom.us. And then when I scroll down, there's this settings here. I click this. And then the tabs here, I click recording. And then when I scroll down, cloud recording, this is the part where you should check the boxes. So look, record active speaker with share the screen. Like you may have the slides, the screen, and then the active speaker. Record gallery view with share the screen. Record, and these three I just showed you, active speaker, gallery view, or only share the screen with no speakers at all. And here we have record audio only files. And the thing is, you can record one audio file for all participants, or you can record a separate audio file for each participant. And then another, yeah, you can record a sign language interpreter. But then when you scroll a little down, yeah, create audio transcript. So in this audio transcript, you will have the names of different speakers and then the transcript. And also we have save closed caption as a VTT file. So you can just check these boxes to have these files. And then how you can access them is once you stop the recording, it takes a while for the recording to be processed. But the way you can access it again is to log into zoom.us. Log into your Zoom account on zoom.us. And then in this bar here, click recordings. And when you click recordings, you can access, like for example, this last item I recorded was this. I will just click this. And then these are the things that were provided for me. I mean, other than the regular recording that we get, like all of the files I showed you, share the screen with speaker view, gallery view, audio files, and audio transcript as well. So this is where you can access those files, those recordings. And then also, one thing that we wanted to share today is that we can do some post-production and just make some educational resources using the recordings that have been created. For example, we used Camtasia. I will resize this and then show you. For example, we used Camtasia to just so we have the slide here. We put the speakers on the side, and then we can add captions to this recording, and we kind of change the way it looks. And I'm going to play this for you.
Number 3, engagement. So you can encourage the sharing of perspective and experiences across the hybrid environment, and you can also use polls and quizzes.
This needs to be taken into consideration. Implement consistent assessment practices for both in-person. Yeah, then we can add audio effects to this. I mean, this can be used as an educational resource. Even you can upload it into a Canvas shell, just making it accessible for people who would like to have access to such a resource. Yeah, I think Eduardo, do you want to add something?
Yeah, just to add something, like, why is this more accessible? Because we can play around with the end user in mind. Kind of like, for example, in the example that Mariam just showed us, we could have maybe 2 presenters in a meeting or in a you know, like in a teaching, and we want both of them to be displayed. Also, if we have it here, then we can improve the audio quality, which will make it more accessible. We can also grab the captions generated by Zoom and add them here in Camtasia so they can be there, heartburn all the time, and we can do different things. Now, if that sounds kind of complex to you, don't worry, you can connect with us and we can connect with you to explain you how to use Camtasia. We can do a workshop for that as well.
So I think now we need to go to the next part of our presentation. Oh, Chris, are you going to share? I should stop
Yeah.
sharing, right?
I'll just start sharing just right here.
Okay.
So we'll now take the time to explore some recommended accessibility practices. So what I mean by this is specifically taking a look at the interactive features of Zoom that many of us have likely used in some meetings at some point, and seeing how we can use those with more intention with accessibility in mind as well. So the first thing we want to highlight is, how do you really configure meetings for speakers, interpreters, and translators? So the key thing here is the spotlighting feature. So spotlighting and pinning, they're very similar in that they do almost the exact same thing. They basically put someone on the screen and they make sure that they stay, but they differ in whose camera is going to stay for who. So for spotlighting, it's basically you're pinning someone's video for everyone. So everyone in the meeting will be able to see that one person being pinned. Now, this is something that only the host can do or the co-host can do, not something that a participant can do, but something to keep in mind regardless. However, of course, you are also more than welcome to just pin someone on your own screen. So maybe there's someone talking, or maybe there's someone that isn't talking that you want to see. You can also pin them. So again, the main difference between the two things is that spotlighting is for everyone and pinning is just for your own view. So when it comes to interpreters and translators, it's really important that if you do have them in the Zoom room, that you do spotlight them for everyone to make sure that they are viewable as well. Kind of an extension of this as well is to ensure that if you are using breakout rooms, to ensure that you are, of course, moving the translator and or interpreter to wherever they need to be for the individuals that do need that support. And in terms of adding the spotlight or pinning, if you just right-click on someone's video, for instance, if I right-click on my own, I'm actually able to spotlight my camera for everyone. So now everyone can see me. I'll remove that spotlight there. The next thing we'll chat about is about the chat, actually, and how to really use this with accessibility in mind. So what's nice about the chat is that it is actually readable by screen readers. The only thing that is a little bit challenging is that any links provided aren't actually, many screen readers can't activate the links, meaning that they can't really click on the links. So what we recommend doing is in advance or ahead of the meeting, if you're able to, be sure to send out those links in advance, maybe through an email or through your reminders, something like that, just to ensure that folks have that those links on hand to access before the meeting, and they can be prepared for it to be referenced in the meeting as well. Another key accessibility practice you likely will want to explore is kind of goes back to like a universal design for learning perspective, really having multiple means of representation for folks. So those who might be a little bit of hard of hearing, who might not be able, or who might not be they might be in a place where they're not able to hear you clearly or anything like that. It's really important that if you are including instructions for your participants, for instance, maybe you're doing some sort of activity and you need folks to engage with it, not only speak those instructions, but also put them in the chat as well. It can be very helpful as well. But of course, if you have captions and transcript enabled, that also somewhat does the job as well. Now transitioning here into a very key interactive feature we use in Zoom, and that is Zoom polls. Now, this one is a little bit controversial when it comes to if it actually is accessible or not. There's a lot of discourse around it, whether it is or it is not. Zoom themselves have not actually come out by saying if it is or is not accessible. So because of that, what myself and one of our learning designers, Gabrielle, did is we actually played around with Zoom polls using an assistive or a screen reader and seeing if it was navigable with keyboard. So I'll note that Gabrielle and myself are not users who use screen readers on a regular basis. We use them when we're testing things, so we're not the most advanced users of them. But with that being said, when we did do our exploration, we did notice that the Zoom polls, they are quite navigable with just the keyboard alone. Now, that being said, it is important that you do use Zoom polls with intention. So meaning that it's probably not the best idea to have a Zoom poll every 3 seconds in your meeting. Really think about your meeting and in the context of which, when you're going to want to use these Zoom polls, when you're going to want to engage with your audience and how you want to do that. Really be intentional with its use. Remember that there is always other ways that you can engage with your audiences through different means as well. And that kind of brings us to the next point here, is that provide alternatives for folks if you are wanting to use Zoom polls. So for instance, if people aren't maybe able to see the screen or are not able to see the poll, maybe it's an opportunity for you to have an open discussion for folks to voice their opinion as well. But again, it just comes down to providing those alternatives to the Zoom poll as well. And this last interactive feature here is the whiteboard. Based on our testing, it is not quite yet accessible, and that really is because there is no order when it comes to the whiteboard. So whiteboards tend to be more of a collaborative visual space where people are able to brainstorm, put in different information. They're able to annotate directly on the screen. But because that screen reader technology does struggle with it, just because there isn't really a clear order for it to read from, and it's just not quite yet accessible. So again, similar to the Zoom polling, be sure to provide alternatives if you are planning to use the whiteboard. And as well, what's helpful as well is to always explain what's happening on the screen. So for instance, if you have someone annotating or if you're typing something, being sure to explain what you're doing, what's happening on the screen does make that a lot more accessible as well. I would encourage you folks as well to consider if there are other tools that might be able to do similar features as the whiteboard and be more accessible at the same time. So whiteboarding is a very popular visual medium, but seeing if there maybe is some other tool that can be accessible as well. But with that being said, that does bring us to the end of the key presentation parts of today's session. I'll pass it over to Eduardo to chat about some of our upcoming workshops and events.
Thank you, Chris. So I'm just going to quickly share this 1 more minute. Okay, yes, so to wrap it up, just to let you know about some events that we're having in this month and the upcoming days. So if you're interested to learn about alternative assessments, we're going to have a workshop on that. That's happening on February 14th. We also have our Faculty of Education Games Club. So if you want to have some fun with us, play a couple of board games or play ping pong with us, just join us on February 20th. Then we're also going to be exploring AI tools in this High Tea with AI workshop. So we're going to be looking at multimedia tools that are quite interesting. And we also have a couple of interesting discussions that are going to be around our In Focus theme, which is climate justice. So this is one of them. And the other one is this one. So by the way, all this information is on our website. If you go to our website, you can see all the information about the workshops, and you can also sign up and engage with us in them. I will highly recommend that. So finally, yep, you can contact us always at our email, @ubc.ca. You can contact us there if you have any questions, if you want to go deeper, if something was not clear, etc. You can also join us in LinkedIn, follow us there. We just opened our account and we're going to be sharing some very interesting information on climate justice and also like our workshops and the different things that we normally do. We also have a mailing list that we just launched, and we can put the link maybe in the chat if you can, Chris, if people want to sign up and get information and the news updates about the things that we're doing. And with that being said, thank you so much for your time, for joining us in this workshop. And let us know right now, maybe we can take a couple of minutes to see if we have any questions. So yeah. I'm going to open the floor now to see if we have any questions, comments.
Our pleasure. Yeah, and
I guess we don't
need
have
support. Sorry, if you need support with any of the things we presented today, just contact us. We will be happy to help you. Like every step you need support with, we are here to help. You can drop us emails or see us in person.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Great, so we can finish it there. Mariam, you want to close?
I just wanted to say thanks for taking part in our workshop. And thanks to Christopher and Eduardo for being here.
Great, thank you.
Yeah,
See you
sure,
next time.
Sandra. We can support you with your Canvas presentations. There's some chat going on here. Yeah, so looking forward to connecting with you.
Thank
See
you. Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.